welcome to The Cooler with me, Rebecca Berman, and I have my favorite sidekick, my cooler, and you know, something funny might just come out of it today. We'll see. So a couple of things today. I have a great guest, K7. He's a singer, performing artist, entertainer, and I'm really excited to talk to him and hear about his career and what he's up to today, so we can all go and check him out. And I also have James McVoy, and he is my sponsor today, and he's a system disruptor. Okay, so a system disruptor, I can't even speak, is he has two businesses, and they're both totally futuristic, if you ask me. One has to do with bitcoins, and one has to do with solar energy. So James happens to be here today, so we're going to hear all about that too, which is very cool to me. Anything futuristic is neat, you know, Star Wars-ish. Okay, also, you know, I hope you guys, if anyone is watching right now, I hope you've either voted, it's primary day in New York, or you're going to be voting. You know, I think the polls are open until 9 tonight. Like me, I will probably get there at 8:57. And I'm not going to lose any viewers today by saying whether I'm registered as a Democrat or Republican, so it'll just kind of be a silent thing that I'm not going to say it, but I will be going out to vote. And I'm not a millennial, so I guess you can guess who I'm not voting for. In any case, my other thing is I was reading in the Times at about 3 this morning, you know, my usual wake-up time, that we are in a second Gilded Age, okay? So I was like trying to figure that out. A Gilded Age, that is pretty crazy. So it's really like, I don't know, 1915 instead of 2016. It's a little crazy when you think about, you go back 100 years and think of all the different things that have happened in history. Okay, so I'm just going to leave you guys with that thought for a minute, and otherwise I don't have any other, you know, fashion tips today or anything else that I'm usually, you know, throwing out acting like I know what I'm talking about. But I do have to shout out to someone I saw this morning, if he's watching, Jules at Country Kitchen. Hey, how are you? I know you got a big kick out of watching my show, and remember I told you to be a subscriber, so don't forget to hit that red button. And now I'm going to have to make you watch this episode because I just shouted out to you. Okay, so I'm going to welcome my first guest, is my sponsor today, James McVoy. Woo! All right. Hello, System Disruptor. How are you?
Pleasure.
Nice to have you on the show today. So, James, before we get started, I have a little thing I have to pull out of my cooler.
Okay.
It is my iPhone. And do you know why I had to pull out my iPhone?
No, I don't.
Because your entire business is literally the future, and you can only really do it if you're on the phone, from what I understand.
This is true. It's getting to be that way very quickly.
Right. So you have two businesses. Let's talk about the first one that has to do with the phone, and just kind of people just being out there and having access to any kind of internet, and that's how they can access crypto biz, right? Crypto.biz, rather.
Right. Well, Charna Wallet is something that kind of blends the best of all worlds.
Right.
You know, everything between banking, PayPal, crypto technology, it makes it operate seamlessly.
Right.
Okay. Also very well protected. And as more and more articles are coming out, especially the Panama Papers that were revealed a few weeks ago,
right,
it's showing everybody more and more that people really are in favor of it. It's just a matter of, you know, how fast everybody gets adequated and feels secure and knowledgeable about it.
Right. So I have to back up for a minute.
Okay.
You called it Charna?
Charna Wallet, correct.
Charna Wallet, C-H-A-R-N-A. Is that some kind of spiritual word?
No, no.
Okay.
My former mentor, we were going over company names a while back, and it was just somebody that was very close and meant a lot to him. And
right,
I said, you know, since he passed away a couple of years ago, I said, this, you know, it's kind of fitting.
So I wrote down a couple of points that I think are very like layman terms that are on your website. So if anyone, needs to understand what it is, because I heard the word Bitcoin and I was like, huh? Is that something to do with the internet and money? So that was kind of all I kind of thought of. So one of the things is it says you can make and receive payments online.
Correct.
You can buy and sell coins directly. You can support all crypto company like a Bitcoin. What is a Bitcoin?
Bitcoin is basically a digital currency.
Okay.
It's anything that you would pay with online that's not money.
Got it. Okay. And you can support, I said that. You have a help desk that's 24/7.
Correct.
And you pay out in whatever the choice of currency is that the user wants, like
Correct.
whether I want to use euros or dollars. And it runs the gamut that covers the whole world, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
we have 32 currencies right now, and we'll be adding some more.
And the last point that you have on there is, which I didn't really understand what it meant, a T0 instant crypto payment technology. What is that?
Well, basically, it's allowing people to transfer between cryptocurrency and actual fiat currency instantly, without there being a delay in payment or a waiting time.
Right. So for all of us people who aren't as swift as you are and as technologically savvy as you are, what would somebody do if they wanted to have this service? Like, how do you go about getting it, and what happens once I have it?
Right. Well, the sign-up process is easy. You just scroll down to the bottom of the homepage.
Right.
You enter in the very short registration details, and it'll send you a confirmation email.
And is that Charna wallet that we would go to?
Yes.
Okay.
But if they really want to get educated as to Bitcoin in general, they can always go to YouTube, which is a fantastic learning process because there's at least 10 to 15 videos on there which really go in depth and show everybody line by line literally what to do.
Okay.
So they can become self-experts, if you will, in their spare time.
Okay. So if I was to sign up, I'd go on the website, I'd sign up, and now I want to go to the grocery store. What's going to happen?
Right. Well, when you're in the grocery store, as long as they accept cryptocurrency or fiat and you have the wallet, you will be able to pay.
And the wallet, it's just like a scanner on my phone, right?
Yeah.
And what is it, hooked up to my bank account?
Pretty much.
Okay.
You can think of it as a virtual banking account online, just like PayPal, except that we go a lot further because PayPal is slowly accepting things.
Right.
We accept everything.
Right, okay. And yes, I do have a lot of trouble with PayPal, by the way. That is like an email-coded ridiculousness, and I know you and I were having a little thing with it.
Yes, and I've heard more than 500 people in the last 2 weeks telling me, they were waiting for this or they tried to buy this and there's been a hiccup, and I'm like, I can't control them. And
to diverge on a totally other topic that has to do with PayPal, I think he is the guy that gives young people to drop out of college $100,000 to start new businesses, and I don't know what his name is.
Off the top of my head, I don't know.
I know. So the thing I wanted to say is, I think he needs to give those kids $100,000 to make PayPal easier to use.
I would agree in a lot of circumstances. I would agree.
So. Now you also have another business, and when you go to the website for it, it's solar energy, like on people's roofs, on corporations' roofs, on mall roofs. So what is that business called?
It's called Ubiquity Energy.
Ubiquity Energy.
And we actually give everybody free solar. I know there's a lot of solar companies in the area, and there's many that say, well, we're free, but there's a fee here, there's a fee there. Once you get down to the fine print, but we can do everything, including solars on cars.
Okay. Wow.
The street lights that a lot of people are seeing, which is a fantastic idea, especially if you're a municipality.
Right.
We've been working with the City Council of Camden, which is going to end up, a very big project over there, employing at least 200 people for a distribution outlet and a manufacturing plant over there, and they've been exceptionally grateful.
So let me ask you a question. I now go to solarubiquity.com and I say, I want solar panels on my house. You're going to come to my house, you're going to install this, and I'm going to pay no money?
Correct.
Get out of here.
No, there's a simple process that takes place, and actually we have the people inside that walk you through it step by step.
Okay.
Make sure it's seamless and painless, make sure you know everything that you're getting and why.
Okay.
And then after that, there's a scheduled date as to when we come out and do our job.
Wow. So what is going to happen when I call now that I am calling? This is like, I can't wait to call you outside of this show and hire you to do this work.
I appreciate it.
So that will heat my water and I won't need to get an oil delivery?
Well, once you install solar on your house, I mean, basically, you're not going to have to depend on the electric that comes from the grid.
Right.
Because if you're producing enough and you're in the correct areas to produce enough,
right.
okay, you'll actually end up sending energy back to the grid, which obviously saves utility companies, you know, money on production.
Right.
And it allows you to heat and cool your house for, if it's not a reduced cost, if the electric company charges you,
right.
then you won't be paying.
Wow. That's pretty insane. So how do you get paid, you know, loosely you could tell us, how do you make money from doing this?
It's mostly because of the government incentives that they kicked in and what they announced again last year of all the incentives that they're offering.
Right.
We go through that program to get paid because, you know, frankly, why should people pay 2 or 3 times for something?
Right.
And especially solar when it's free.
Yeah, no, that's pretty amazing. So everyone needs to call James. And James, tell me your email addresses because I think both of your businesses are pretty phenomenal, and I love that you are a sponsor today. And anything I think that has to do with the future is very exciting. And you know, really opens up our world and helps us come out of the past 100 years of what did I say? The Gilded Age. Gilded Age 2. So tell us how we can find you.
You can find us at ubiquityenergy.com and also charnawallet.biz. And our email address is info@charnatech.com and info@solardevtech.com.
Okay, James, thank you so much for being here today. I told you it was going to be short and sweet. And I know you have to run home. You've got stuff to do.
Yes, and I also have to go pick up my son, Jameson. Hey, bud, love you.
How old is he?
He just turned 10 3 weeks ago.
Oh, that's so cute.
So he's a joy.
And you guys have similar names.
Yes, I'm James. He's Jameson.
Right.
He makes it all worthwhile.
Oh, that's really nice. And I really appreciate you coming in today. And I wanted to try to get you in and out of here as quickly as possible, so you didn't have to be stressed. And I love your businesses, and I wish you a lot of luck with them.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much. Take care.
You too.
James McVoy. Woo! So my next guest is entertainer K7. He used to be TK, right? Okay, welcome K7, thank you. Woo! I'm the big audience. How are you? Good to see you.
Still TKA, I still am
TKA.
Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate you coming in today to be on the Cooler.
It's a pleasure, thank you for having me.
So I think we have some current, I don't know, I shouldn't say current. We have some of your videos. How about Come Baby Come, or song, we can play it. I think
That's fine.
John in the control room might have that. So when did you have this made?
Come Baby Come was made back in 1993.
Right.
And
because it looks like real videos, like from the video days,
Yes.
the music video days, right?
yeah, it was pretty much a lot of fun that we did. Yeah.
That's very cool.
And it was released on Tommy Boy Records. And so one of our biggest hits.
That's awesome. And do you still perform?
Every weekend. Every weekend we perform in the New York area, Connecticut.
Right.
You know, we're going to Chicago this weekend. We're doing a big show in Chicago. And a lot of Jersey shows.
Right.
So yeah, we perform a lot.
And do you find your audience to be people from that knew you back in the 90s, or do you have, you know, younger people now who found you? And
well, it's funny because that song in particular last year, a group called Twerk sampled it, and it started a resurgence
Right.
for for a lot of fans of the music, because a lot of kids today know about sampling, so they study it and want to come back to finding out who are the artists that these records came from. And we have a mixed blend. Our fan base, I want to say, starts from 25 and goes all the way to 55.
Right. Okay.
And
that's really cool.
People who grew up with us and they're kids now that like it. The lucky thing about me is that I was both in TKA and K7. TKA being my first group, and then K7 being my solo venture. And we tapped into different generations, and our fan base seems to have grown, because of that. So, I'm pretty lucky.
So I understand you were a very young man when you started singing and got into real dance music. So how did that all happen for you?
Honestly, I was a curious kid around the neighborhood, and I lived on the Upper East Side, and I used to, always walk from place to place. My favorite place to walk was 86th Street.
Okay.
I was walk to 80.
Too.
Yeah, I lived on.
Did you used to go to? There was a good clothing store, Orva, the discount department store.
I don't remember Orva. I was always walking to. What is VIM? Yeah, VIM used to be on 86th Street.
Okay, yes, I think I remember that.
I was walking there most of the time, and what I would do is on my way back home, I would always come down First Avenue. I lived on 93rd Street at the time. And as I would come up, there was this big soccer store, and I'm not a sports guy, but every time I passed by the store, there was something about it that was sparking my curiosity. And one day, I saw a hip hop artist who I knew was really popular. And
you saw him in the store?
No, he was walking up to the side of the store.
Right.
And I was like, and I knew him, and the fan that I was, I ran in. Right. And I walked up the stairs, and I introduced myself. And he shook my hand. He was a member of the Soul Sonic Force. Okay. And he says, "This is our record label." He hands me a T-shirt from the record label. Right. And I was just a kid, and I was like, "There's a record company by the house." So I was writing songs and writing poetry at the time, and then I was like, well, if, the process started for me is, how do I make a record? Right. So I started writing songs and writing rap songs, and I would go to my groups. I had 2 groups at the time. And I would go to one group, and I was like, we got to record. So we would try to find someone who would record us here. And then with my other group, which ended up being TKA, I would try to write songs on this end.
So isn't it funny, at the time, and tell me if I'm wrong, the time you met this guy in the store was at the same time that you were already writing music?
I was already writing, stuff, and I was already trying to be a performer. Right.
So it wasn't really a coincidence.
It wasn't a coincidence, but it was the spark that that pushed me forward. Right. And a few years later, believe it or not, the label that signed me was that same label, which was Tommy Boy.
That's crazy.
And I got signed to the label that I found in my neighborhood.
Right. Isn't that it's like you didn't even have to leave your house. I mean, you
not
did,
at all.
But you had to just
not
a few
at all.
blocks away.
I didn't have to. I was lucky.
That's crazy.
I was lucky.
And and I feel like you probably know these bands from when I was in college. That was a long time ago. Someone played at our spring break, Lisa and the Cult Jam.
Lisa, a good friend of mine. I grew up with Lisa.
Oh, you did? And I feel like they came out of that whole time period, too, when your music was out.
The funny thing is that in one of my other bands, we were going back, and I was traveling to Brooklyn to a recording studio in Brooklyn. It was run by the group which is now called Full Force. Okay. And when we showed up, they played us a classic hip-hop record. They said, this is the type of stuff we're doing. They played us this classic hip-hop record called Roxanne, Roxanne, from a group called UTFO. And we were like, oh, we're in a good place. Right. This song is going to be a hit. Right. And the guy turns to me and says, do you know, he turns to me and my partner, excuse me, and he says, do you know a girl who can sing? And he looked at me and I looked at him, and we both knew of that one person. And he said, yeah, I got my sister's best friend. And, we were the connection that got Lisa her deal. Right, that's great. Which was a few years before we got ours. Right. that started then. And she got together with Full Force and, you know, became Lisa in the Cult Jam. The rest of that is history.
Right.
You know, and I knew Lisa. I grew up with everyone, everyone basically. Rob Bass, who sang "It Takes Two," is someone who I went to.
Oh yeah.
You know, I went to high school with.
Right.
And Mark Anthony. Mark Anthony is a person who was my best friend in high school, and I grew up with him.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
So he was married to J-Lo?
He was.
Is that the dad of the kids?
He's the dad of both her twins.
Both,
yes.
right. That's crazy. Do you still keep up with him, or?
We speak every year. In fact, we text.
Okay.
I texted him a few months ago, and we're trying to catch up. I'm trying to go to Miami and hang out with him out in Miami. Yes.
Right. And now we need to get him at one of your to do like some, you know, special guest appearance, like Taylor Swift does at her shows, right?
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. I mean, you know, he's an incredible performer. I'm proud to call him a friend, and I'm really happy for his success.
That's great. And how did you get the name K7?
My real name is Lewis.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give you the.
Sorry.
I'm gonna give you the extended version of it so that you understand.
Okay.
As a kid, growing up in New York City, you always venture into trying to be a graffiti artist.
Of course,
and,
I've tried that myself.
You're drawing on on your notebooks and everything, and most of my friends were graffiti artists, and one day he was writing on the wall. Now around my neighborhood there was so many Lewises that you would each one of us had a different moniker. So there was Crazy Louie, which was me. There was Fat Louie.
So it's like you had a logo.
Louie.
You had like a logo that included your name in it.
Yeah. So he was writing on the wall. He was writing something, and he asked me, hurry up, tell me what your name is so I can finish this. And I turned around and I said, I don't know, write whatever you're going to write. And he says, I'll abbreviate it. So he wrote Kayel, which ended up being my name. And since I was, I want to say 11 or 12, that's what everyone's called me.
Right.
When I became successful and I wanted to do my own solo stuff, I wanted to branch away from the sound.
Right.
And my manager said, well, what are you going to call yourself? And I said, I picked out one name, and he turned around and says, no, just keep the K part. What about something at the end of it? And I said, 7.
And he says, it was 7. You're like George Costanza.
Yeah, I'm like George Costanza. No, the 7 is basically, KL was my name.
Right.
You turn the L upside down, and it becomes a 7.
Oh, that's what you were telling me. Now I get it.
There are a couple of other reasons behind it as well, but that's the most prominent
That's
one.
right. That's great. So I'm going to take your lead, and I'm going to make up some kind of name for myself. I don't know what, but I will make sure to get in touch with you and let you know when I've got a symbol going.
That's cool. That's cool. Becky B.
Right.
That works.
I like that.
That works.
That reminds me of a story. Before I was married and I was dating my husband, I had an internship at Channel 13.
Okay.
And there was a woman working in the next department. She was a little older than me, and her name was Becky Berman.
Okay.
So I remember saying to my boyfriend, there's this woman, and she has the same, like if I was married to you, it'd be the same name.
Right.
And he's like, oh my God, stay far away from that woman. In the meantime, here I am, married almost 25 years, so, and my name's Rebecca Berman.
There you go. That worked. So I guess you didn't pay attention to keep it away, huh?
I know. I really tried to, but, in the end, we got married like 7 or 8 years later, so.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But, so back to you. So we have another song queued up that I wanted to play. How about either we have Maria or Live My Life? Which one?
Let's do Maria.
Okay, Maria.
Maria is a classic
John.
TKA record.
Okay.
And this video shows a lot of performance shots of us. The two gentlemen that are in the video are Trey Deuce and Los, and they've been with me since 1990.
Oh, wow.
They've been performing with me. They came with me when I did my solo venture as K7.
Right.
And when I reformed TKA in 2004, they've been with me since.
So this is real dance music.
Yeah. Well, it's freestyle music. At the root of it all is dance music.
Yep.
And it's a party.
Yeah, It really is. It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm not, you know,
It's hard, you know, my ex-manager used to say that it's a Harlequin romances set to 125 BPMs. So, you know.
Because isn't it supposed to be, is it off of that song Maria from West Side Story?
Well, the idea of it was influenced by that. There was 2 songs at the time when I wrote the song.
Hey, that's a whatchamacallit beat from Shaka Khan.
Yes, it was influenced by that. So Maria was, the idea of the song was influenced by West Side Story and a song by Belle Biv DeVoe called Poison.
Okay.
And I was trying to write a song and watching West Side Story on Channel 5.
Right.
And listening to my headphones, you know, and listening to Belle Biv DeVoe album, and all of a sudden I was like, hey, I can do something with this, and I started writing. And
that's great. That's so exciting, and it's also funny for me, you know, that I hear the influences from different bands I knew back then as well.
Yeah.
I probably was dancing to your music, and
well, for me, I think I consider myself a child of the hip hop era because you know, the people that influenced me were basically the DJs and the MCs that first started the hip hop movement here in New York City.
Right.
And what I learned from those guys was to take any resource that you possibly had, whether you know, anything that lived in your memory.
Yep.
You know, be it a song by Gilbert O'Sullivan.
Right.
You know, to write a melody to.
Like
you know,
from HMS Pinafore.
Right. Or to be influenced by stuff like that. So what I would try to do when we did it, you know, though I was doing dance music, I would always, for me as a writer and as a performer, I would think, wouldn't it be cool to have this sample happen here or that happen there? And my manager at the time, who was also our main producer, you know, would take a lot of these ideas, you know, because he was a disco head guy.
Right.
You know, a diehard Donna Summer fan, and you know, he would merge all these ideas, you know, the new with the old.
Right.
And we were lucky enough, you know, to be able to come out and pull out these hits.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
Like this. Yeah.
And back, you know, when you were performing this stuff, were you out in nightclubs doing performances, or were you in like a, you know, an arena where everyone's sitting in a seat?
It was both. We were, you know, for the beginning, we started out doing clubs in New York City.
Right.
And you know, but we would travel outside New York, and we'd be doing, you know, huge, you know, arenas and concert halls, and you know, a lot of places that were like Radio City Music Hall.
Right. Like, what was there back then? Roseland or?
Roseland was my favorite place to perform.
All right, that's funny.
It was also the first club that I ever got into. A DJ that used to DJ there. I was underage, and there was a DJ there named Tony Torres.
Okay.
And he pulled me in, and I was able to hang out, and I enjoyed it very much.
So I love hearing how your music came together and the different sounds and songs that you also pull from and the different genres. That's really cool because I never really knew that about that type of music.
Yeah.
What? So today I know you're a performer and I know you're out on the road. So where are some places that people can go watch you?
Well, we're going to be at the Wilmont Theater.
Okay.
May 14th. It's a big show. It's we have a lot of groups with us there. We have George Lamond, Cover Girls.
I love George Lamond. Tell him I said hello.
Yes, it's a good friend of mine, my compadre, as I call him. And
he's a good salsa dancer.
Yes, amazing. And we're going to be in Coney Island this summer.
Okay.
It's going to be a huge show at the new amphitheater that they have outside. I want to say that is in August.
Oh, that's exciting.
But we also in Long Island celebrating our 30th anniversary.
Okay, happy anniversary.
And the Penny Savers, that's on July 2nd.
Okay.
And the lineup is an incredible lineup.
Oh, so who else is going to be there?
Sweet Sensation, us, Rob Bass.
I know, I'm like putting you on the
Judy
spot, like
Torres,
everyone.
I think George Lamond is going to be there.
Right. That's great.
It's just
a
slew of people. If you want to find out, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, K7TKA.
And that's the letter K and the number 7.
And TKA.
And TKA.
And you will find everything there.
All right, so I do have a little.
You have a soda in there or water?
I don't have any no drinks today. Just a little food for you.
Okay.
So, a friend of Amazon makes these delicious chocolate-covered Oreos with the Cooler logo on them.
Okay.
So you can actually take that.
I can have it?
You can have it. You can take the box with you.
That's great.
Her info's on there.
I love chocolate. I love chocolate.
I know. I feel like who doesn't love chocolate? Not unless you're vegan, I guess.
Fully dipped. I like this.
Isn't that cute? Mm-hmm. So K7, it was amazing talking to you. I loved meeting you, and I love your music, and I like hearing it, you know, how everything came together for you.
Rebecca, thank you for having me on the show.
All right, thanks so much.
Pleasure.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
K7, all right. So you guys, if you want to find me, I'm on Twitter at Rebecca Berman TV, Facebook, Rebecca Berman, Instagram, Rebecca.Berman. And that's it for today's show, The Cooler with Rebecca Berman. Mwah. Bye.